Okay, now we call for approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
A second. I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next is approval of the minutes from the May 14th meeting. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion to approve minutes for May 14th.
And we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any corrections? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No public hearings, so we are on to new business.
So there's really only one item on tonight's meeting. Sorry, pull this up real quick. It is a final plat off of Grace Lane. This is in the it's Graceland Estates is the subdivision that this is in. And the applicant is the future property owner, Ms. Shelley Patterson. It's being divided. The current property is owned by their mother. And they are looking to split the lot. It's known as, it's identified as Tract 1, Grace Lane, into a 1.2 acre tract and a 2.4 acre tract. And the purpose of this is to build another single family home on the property approximately right here. They're looking to build a home right in there. We're still working with the technical review committee on a couple of outstanding items. The first being this easement. We just want to make sure that that is appropriately placed on this plat because right now the gravel driveway is square out of the easement, and they can of course make that decision, but we're just kind of telling them that it would be best if the access drive was within the access easement. So we're just working on some stuff down here. Everything else looks fairly consistent. Some setback things that we'll have to talk to them about, but overall there should be buildable land once they split that lot. Fayette County Environmental Health has been working with them on septic and their soils present that are able to perk and things like that. This submission is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the zoning map. Comprehensive plan has this whole area slated as estate residential, which is 1 acre lot minimums. This falls into that category. And then the zoning classification is R12, and it consists of 1 acre lot minimums, 1,200 square foot home minimum. And I believe they've already kind of submitted some preliminary plans for the home, just kind of showing me what's going on. And it's a rather large home, so they shouldn't have a problem with that. So I don't think the applicant is here today, but if you have any questions, I'm available.
Anyone have any questions? I have one question.
Yeah.
Where the property line for the split is drawn,
Yeah.
compared to where the house is there an easement issue or separation issue?
No, so the setbacks are,
Setback, that's
yeah, the existing home is going to be located outside these setbacks. You see that's the setback. They're getting pretty close, but they're outside of
they
it.
are outside.
And the new home is going to, when they submit a site plan for that home for building department review, that'll have to be outside that setback. But they have a pretty good buildable area, and the home's fairly square, so it should fit pretty easily.
I just wanted to make sure because the way the current house is situated, it's close. I was wondering if there was going to be any concern down the road about the setback not being sufficient.
Yeah, we've kind of we've been thinking about that preemptively, and I think it's going to be okay.
Okay.
What is the size of the current home versus the second home?
This current home, it says it on there. Well, no, it doesn't. I believe that home is close to 1,500 or 1,800 square feet. So it's currently, currently conforms to the 1,200 square foot minimum.
And then you said the new home to be built will be larger.
Yeah, I mean the preliminary plans were close to 3,000 square feet, so it's a little larger.
If no other questions, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve with conditions.
we have a motion for approval with conditions. Conditions stated.
I'll second the motion with conditions.
Have a second. Any further discussion? If none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So the next item on the agenda is we don't have to take any action on this one, just an announcement and just kind of getting your thoughts. The town was officially awarded the Livable Centers Initiative grant from the Atlanta Regional Commission, so it's an LCI grant. The grant is going to be for $120,000. We match $40,000, which means it's a total of $160,000. And that grant is meant for a streetscape master plan, market study, and traffic and parking assessment for downtown. This is a really big deal. Getting excited to work on it, and it's going to have a huge public engagement process. It's going to be very similar to the comprehensive plan, what we do for the comp plan, if not a little bit larger. So it's going to be based on a lot of public engagement, a lot of what, specifics on what we want to see the streetscape specifically look like, because I know there was a lot of commentary on previous kind of visioning exercises that we did with UGA on what other people's lots, potential development on other people's lots. We're really just going to focus on what we have. So our assets as a town, our property, our right-of-way, those things. And how we can best leverage that to create a walkable downtown environment and one that, provides good, traffic flow and things of that nature. It's the current timetable for this project. We're going to finish up the scope with ARC by the end of this week, so tomorrow, and we're pretty much there. And we're also going to, and then we're going to probably by the end of July pick a consultant. So we go out, we'll get an RFP for a consultant. It's usually a planning and engineering firm that applies for these, and they work with us on actually conducting the study and providing us with deliverables that we can act on. The big deal about this, the LCI program is the eligibility for other state transportation dollars. So TIP funds, and we currently get access to some TIP funds. Are called, it's basically LMIG funds, which are maintenance projects. We will subsequently, after the ARC, the LCI program, get access to LCI-specific monies that will allow us to do streetscape enhancements. So it's a big deal. Alpharetta was just a recent recipient of grant monies, and it's usually quite a substantial amount. Like we can do, redo sidewalks, brick them, do some traffic improvements like a roundabout or something that's necessary downtown. So
That include landscaping as well?
yeah, it would typically include some streetscaping and things like that. So it's a big deal. It's a kind of a it's going to be a big project that y'all will be involved in, of course. And then we'll also have a steering committee and different stakeholder meetings and things of that nature. So we'll probably on that steering committee have at least one of you guys present, whoever wants to volunteer, and same with council. There'll be a lot of business owners and citizens that live downtown that will participate in that as well. So I don't know if y'all have any questions about it. I sent an email kind of giving you an overview of the LCI program and some videos.
Bill,
and
I
things
got a
like that.
question. I went to our website, the town website. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it was the study that ARC did for the individual properties.
Right.
And I really went at it at depth and looked at it. It is gorgeous. I mean, it is. Will this somehow be tied into this particular study?
Yes. So that study that kind of showed potential for properties. Again, we weren't
Right.
dictating what properties could do. It's just if we amended our ordinance and we did different things, this was potential for them. That was the UGA study that
Right.
they came down and did.
If y'all haven't seen it.
Yeah, they did a really first class job. We got a lot of positive response from that. And yes, they'll probably integrate some of those ideas as well. That was mostly a visioning exercise. That was saying, this is what your comp plan said you wanted. This is what it would look like going down the street, what you could potentially do there. The LCI is going to be much more in depth. It's going to be specifically your right of way is 80 feet. A path is 10 feet. Lane another 10 feet, that type of thing. This is where the landscaping would fit. It's a real master plan for the streetscaping.
Now, when the sewer comes down, did you say it's gonna be in the street or on the side?
So I think the sewer is going to be on the side of the street.
And with this study, I guess they're making the assumption, we're gonna do this and this because of the sewer, they're gonna.
Yeah, I mean the sewer is a big impetus for that. The sewer makes the development pattern possible.
Okay.
So that's something to consider. But yes, yeah, I mean this is all kind of coalescing at a good time. We've got the town hall, trying to integrate that into downtown as best as possible. So we're trying to bring all of these things together.
What do you envision the timeline for all this to take place?
So the timeline is supposed to be by end of year 2021 is the final deliverable for the LCI study. We were also awarded the CDAP program, which is the Community Development Assistance Program. We got that last year. That's what got us our zoning assessment from last year, if y'all remember that, where we created a new zoning district for downtown that kind of eliminated setbacks, brought things closer to the road. They gave us suggestions for architectural standards, things like that. So that CDAP study is going to be integrated as well, because that was very specific to zoning and making changes to our ordinance. And then we're also going to, we also were awarded that program again this year, but it's not zoning, the zoning ordinance, it's an update of the zoning map. So they'll be helping me recreate the zoning map in a GIS-based system, and from there we'll be able to edit it and update it. That'll be something that you guys will see before you much more frequently, hopefully. So the zoning map should be updated. If it's happening frequently, it should be happening, if we're having rezonings a lot, it should be happening a couple of times a year. But at a minimum, it should be happening every year. So we'll probably do it once or twice a year, an update. And the CDAP project is going to end with that zoning map as a deliverable. So we'll probably vote on that new zoning map in the next, at least 3 months or 4 months. They'll be able to produce that for us. So that's what we got going on there.
What's the status of the downtown development authority?
So that was brought up at the council retreat. I think that council's still amenable to that idea and creating one. I think we're going to wait for the building to kind of get done and the sewer to get finished, and then we'll probably start taking action and researching some more on the creation of downtown development authority. Because once sewer goes in and there's the ability to tap on, we're anticipating, there's a reasonable assumption that we're going to have a little bit of a building, growth spurt downtown, and we'll definitely want the DDA in place to kind of facilitate those new buildings coming in. So.
And what's the status on, let's see, the corners over here, development?
The corners development?
Yeah.
Sandy Creek Corners. Yes, yeah. So, they are. I really haven't heard much from them. I think that they produced a market study recently for themselves, but other than I don't know the details about that market study. I don't believe they've had a whole lot of forward momentum there.
Well, I was going to ask you too. What's the status? I see that there's finally starting to clean up that development that began over by by the crossing and Tyrone Road there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
on what they're going to do.
A gentleman just bought that property. He was allowed to clear the scrub pines there. I think it was initially cleared in 2007, then it was cleared again in 2010, and then it was cleared again in 2014. And since 2014, scrub pines have built up again, so we told them that they could clear those scrub pines. But before they do anything else, they have to apply for a site plan approval and a permit, because they do plan on putting an office there.
So this is a new owner now?
Yeah, a new owner. They're looking to do a two-story office building. Pretty standard, I think, office building.
Good. Good to see it finished.
Yeah. I think it'll be a pretty good project. So we're seeing that. We've also got something that's going to be coming in front of y'all next meeting. Well, we might have that one. We'll probably also have the site plan for the 2 buildings on Palmetto Road. They just submitted a site plan for those, the dilapidated buildings on Palmetto Road.
Partially completed.
Yes, so they've submitted a site plan. They want to get your preliminary approval on that coming up. And they should have building plans submitted shortly thereafter. So hopefully those buildings will be done soon. This is the most activity we've ever had.
Are they gonna be able to use those buildings, or gonna tear them down and start over?
They've gotten a structural engineer per our request to assess the condition, and they're still structurally sound, so they'll be able to finish them out. And I think they're planning on those being offices as well.
Probably a few months ago, we had talked about the idea of changing the footprint of downtown.
Yeah, that was,
And
yeah.
going in that direction. Is that something that we're still considering with the rezoning map that you're working on?
Yes, so with the, like before we actually bid out the RFP for the LCI, I would like to bring in front of you a proposed amendment to the town center district as a character area. So it hasn't changed in a long time. The first kind of general proposal for its geographic boundary was in 2007, and it was just kind of thrown down there. We didn't change it in 2017, but I think it needed to be changed in 2017 because there's some areas that make sense to be in the town center district that aren't. And there's some areas that are currently in the town center district that don't make sense to be in it. So some slight modifications. Normally when you amend the future development map, that's an amendment of the comp plan since it's part of that. The Department of Community Affairs at the state will normally have us go through a big process, but I've confirmed with them that if we just do minor changes like that, we don't have to go through a huge comp plan revision process with them. It's simply a public hearing just like we would have anything else for. So that'll be good. And yes, I do want to bring that to your attention. I'll probably have something prepared at our next meeting, just kind of outlining its current location and what we can, some proposed redraws.
So, I think one of the reasons why I brought that up was because I think I remember us talking about to the left of the gas station going up Tyrone, Palmetto, that would be part of that area. But now that, since Scott brought it up, since we have someone who's coming in and they're gonna do potentially office space on that same road, but in that little small window, would we consider taking that little piece of Tyrone Palmetto Road up to 74 and bringing that in as well?
You're talking specifically about those 2 buildings?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll, because it depends on when they're finished with their site planning process. But if we have, because we have an architectural overlay district associated with downtown, I don't believe that we'll be able to apply those standards to those buildings in time, just based on when they've submitted for other things. But the proposal in terms of where the new boundary is located does include that area. So if any future development happens over there, we would probably have it consistent with that. And if we do that before the LCI program gets bid out, then that area also gets incorporated into the study.
Any other questions? Comments?
Good job getting the grants.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, excited to get started on that.
It's good stuff.
It's gonna be good. Open us up to a lot of new opportunities and things. I'm excited.
Fantastic.
If no other comments, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We're done.